fullness and depth of muzzle right out here at the end, width of chest floor and depth, and then substance of bone from the front. Is there enough substance there to support the 6-inch rump behind and fill that udder with milk production? And she's going to be a 31 in her strength.
Is that, what does that mean in this
It
case?
just means 25 is the center, and on that trait, it's really hard to visualize
She's
it.
slightly wider, is it?
Well, and yes, she's more, you know, we always start at the center. You don't want to go clear to the outside, but she has adequate substance and fullness to her. You know, like the one milking yearling or 2-year-old that the lady that was parked here that we talked about her being kind of thin, or she was concerned that's what it looks like when they have dairiness but not enough strength to them. This still has strength. Now we're going to look at her dairiness, and what we're looking at is length of neck, sharpness of wither, angle of rib. Does she look like a long, clean-boned dairy animal, or is she boxy and short-coupled? And it's not stature, it's the illusion that she has. She's going to be a 31 in dairiness as well. She has some length of neck and sharpness and a good angle to the rib cage, that it's a nice balance, that, you know, they have to have the will to milk but the strength to sustain it, and the dairiness is the will and the strength is what sustains their productivity in their lifetime. Her fore-udder attachment is going to be a 35. It sits nicely into the body wall and it's long and smooth relative to the plumb line of her hip. She's 1 inch in teat length. Her rear udder side view, and that's just the amount of udder that sits behind her leg naturally, is going to be a 22. If you can just take her up a few strides, and I'll sneak in behind her here. And her medial, the 25 in medial on the Nigerians is a 1/2 inch. And she just has a little ripple in there. There's just a little divot. She'll be a 16 in medial suspensory ligament. From the base of her teat to her hock, from right here down to her hock, 1 inch of depth is our 25 in udder depth. She's going to be a 27. And her teat placement is a 15, where they're sitting off to the corner. And the diameter at the base, a 25 in teat diameter is 3/4. Their scale is on their own relative to the standard goats. And she's going to be a 20. And her arch, we're going to take that right here, is going to be a 27. And her rear udder height is going to be a 28. Yeah. How we're looking at how we go about that, I can explain it to you. From the base of her vulva to her hock, and we find the halfway point, and for descriptor I'll call it right there without making her mad. That midline is 15 points.
Okay.
For every inch that the top of her arch sits in there right up to the top, for every inch we add 10 points to that, or if it sits below we take 10 points away, or an increment of 10 is how we go about finding that. Basically, the taller they are, and it even applies on these, the rear udder doesn't sit as high as it does if they're a little more moderate in height, because there's a greater distance from vulva to hock on the tall ones and a shorter distance in the smaller ones, and so that's how we've come up with that. It's something they use in dairy cattle as well. Now if you will walk her out a little ways and bring her back, I'll be looking at rump angle and rear leg side view. She's a 30 in rear leg side view. She's ready to go home. She's tired of this. And she's a 33 in rump angle. And I'll show you where we're, bring her up a stride or two, then she's right in there. We're not looking at rump over the top. We're looking down through the pelvic girdle, through the thurl, and right in here on the move. And rear leg side view, right there, sorry for touching her at the front of her hock. as she comes to rest and start, before she puts full weight on it, how much curve sits in there is what we're looking at rear leg side view. So she is a 3-year-old third freshener, is that correct? Late January. She's been, yeah, but she's been in production for a while now and has regained her shape. And she's excellent in head. She is very good in shoulder. The comment I will make is she's a little heavy over the top of the shoulder. Okay. She's got these 2 kind of bumps here. You'd like her to be a little cleaner and sharper in the front end. Okay. If you could get her a little more refined in that place. She is a plus in foreleg, that her knee pads sit a little bit. I can see them towards the side. They're not quite straight. Where from the knee down to her dew claw, this part right here, she's a little bit what we refer to as being short in the cannon. From the dew claw to the knee is short, and then she gets long. As you move the knee pad down on the leg, they either go forward or start to turn out. We want them to have an equal distance there and have a nice straight column-shaped leg. Very common thing. This is what goats want to look like climb on rocks. We want them to track and move straight on flat surfaces and carry a lot of milk in their udders. And so that's the purpose of all of that. She's like, this is traumatizing. He's reaching into the very depths of my being. Very good, actually. She's very good in rear leg. She's very good in her feet. She's very good in her back, and she will be very good in her rump. She does have a little bit of a low thurl that's pushed in at this point, which is relative, but the width of this rump is getting her into the 85th percentile. She is going to be very good in general appearance. We're almost done, sis. Well, it's almost over. She's excellent in dairy strength and body capacity. She really deepens to the flank, and she'll be a plus in mammary system. And it is that her udder floor isn't as clufted. Teat placement, you know, it could set a little higher, but I'm not going to nitpick about that too much. But it just, if you could fix the udder floor, which is relational to fix the rump or work on the rump, and the other traits will come with it. She will be an 86 overall as her final rating today.